hasn't even been a year yet since my last video about furries in Fortnite, and it seems like Epic Games themselves just read my mind and yelled at all the game developers to just add some more. Because this recent season has been so ridiculous that I'm deciding to make a whole nother video on this topic. I mean, the last video did so well and is currently doing even better now that Fortnite has become even more furry. My trollish, unserious video has become and will probably forever be my most viewed YouTube video ever. Well, anyways, look at my library full of furry characters. Yeah, I spent money on all of these skins. I don't even want to think about how much this all costs together. This will most definitely not be my last furry purchase because this game just keeps adding them and adding them, therefore feeding into my addiction to this game. Now, what exactly did they add into this game that even warranted a sequel video in the first place? Well, for a start, they've added a furry skin to almost every single battle pass since that video. In the Rex season, there's Ringmaster Scar, who kind of looks like Jojo Siwa, who happens to own a hyena mask, which is also reminiscent of a different hyena skin that was part of a survey. In Absolute Doom, there's Black Panther, which I know is definitely not a furry character at all, so this season is a bit of an outlier, but there's a Gatekeeper shotgun from Myths and Mortals that is owned by Cerebrus, and if that's not good enough for you, we got a ton of different characters who had added into the shop throughout the season, including Meowtooth, this evil cat, this evil wolf, and this evil Guff, who were all added during Halloween. In Chapter 2 Remix, we got Meowdis, who's a play on Midas, who is an original character from the game lore, and Undercover Sky, who's Sky with a Guff head on. This is the second time Guff has been mentioned, and I just wanted to let you know that I plan on not explaining what that even is. So if you don't know, that's on you, just get good. In the Hunter season, we got Nyanja, with a surprise being Godzilla making a boss appearance and showing up as a bonus skin. In this recent season of Lawless, we get introduced to a villain named Fletcher. A bunch of other miscellaneous characters that have been introduced since that last video include Snoop Dogg as a dog, Kong, Lionel Messi as a lion, Safety First Steve, Lizik, Kozaru, Karasu, Boss Koji, Skillet, Hajime, a goddamn koi fish ninja, Doberman, and a bunch of other dogs, cause why not? I didn't even get to every single one of those skins, and keep in mind, this was all in a span of less than a year. Think of it like this. According to the Fortnite fandom page's definition of straight up anthro characters, these are just straight up furry characters that this site thinks that are furry characters, not my definition, which would include a lot more different characters, but that's besides the point. There are 28 added from the season after that video to now, versus the 44 added from chapter 1 through 5, where stops at the season of Myths Immortal since I made the previous video when that season came out. This is a span of 7 years. We almost got 40 different furry skins in less than a year compared to the 44 within the 7 years. That's a huge increase that I just can't ignore. Keep in mind, this ratio is definitely off because I'm omitting the costumes and other random stuff. I just want to make this as simple as possible for this point and this point alone. That's a lot of furry skins, y'all. From the addition of these characters, it's safe to say that something is going on. In the year since that video came out, you would have expected me to find another piece of the puzzle, some kind of explanation to why it's like this, and you guys will not believe what I just found. Nothing. Well, at least nothing concrete, because I highly doubt I'll find anything that we didn't already know. And even though I do have my theories, I'm gonna save them for later. For now, I want to explore some other things that I didn't explore in my last video, like what importance these characters even have in the Fortnite lore overall. Obviously, we're not going to get too deep into the lore because it's intricate and more complex to a point to where this guy is actually incredibly important, and people got upset at the last video because I didn't say who it was and I just called him the white guy Fortnite. I apologize, by the way. His name is Jonesy. There are multiple seasons where the villain happens to be an anthro character, and other seasons where the anthro characters are important one way or another. Like, for example, the big bads Oscar and Fletcher, who already have big areas that you can explore, in which Fletcher already has memes based off of his portraits in his lair alone. There are also other characters who happen to be important in different ways, like Meowscles, who's constantly in the story as some kind of agent, and Nyanja, who's friends with another character named Jade, who's important in Hunters. These are just examples that I could come up with off the top of my head, as I'm sure there are other characters who happen to appear in the story in their own ways, like Skillet and Rufus, who all have their places in the story in one way or another. One question I do have for the team who comes up with the lore, story, and the different characters, why are there so many big bads? Why are there? Is it an excuse for you guys to make big, beefy, furry men who just happen to be the main face of the game for months? Especially Fletcher, who owns like half of the map at this point and is basically the main antagonist this season. All of these designs feel like they're supposed to appeal to my enjoyment of big, beefy men. Like, you didn't have to go this hard for Cerebrus, and yet here you go! They all also have dialogue with each other, which is so intriguing to me because they built this world around these furry characters that I just happen to know about, while I know nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, about what is even happening in the game's story itself. They also have an achievement this season where you visit the statue and the game recognizes that you're a furry character in this game, and the dialogue itself also recognizes that fact that these people are indeed anthro characters who see each other as animal people. And I feel like even the social media team is playing into this with their marketing, and not even just with the silly videos of the furry characters interacting with each other, but you know, I just want to bring up this random tweet because it's horny behavior. Which I assume is done by one of their interns. And, sir, you need to chill! This is a family game! But you may ask, in this world filled with many humans, why put so many furry characters in this world? And even though I may not have the answer to that, I can at least try to come up with a theory by saying that it's just an addition to an already intriguing concept to this game. That concept being never-ending potential. I mean, literally, we've seen every iteration of anthropomorphic objects in this game, with this season being led by a rapping pickle. We've seen a continuous and extended range of all sorts of different characters, both original and intellectual property, added into the story and the random shop. In recent seasons, we've seen our protagonists fight everything from gods and goddesses to the ultimate Marvel villain. Who says they can't have fun adding a cat man with big muscles who ends up having a kid with a human woman? There's endless potential with nothing stopping them, because the main point of the game is giving the player an infinite number of options and different characters to play from, including characters from popular IPs and original characters of all different lanes, from the unserious one and the one with the regular designs meant to entice the player. I feel like the reason why we see so many furry characters goes back to what I've said before. There's surveys and people and devs just enjoying those types of skins. Because, you know, I mean, they're fun and simple designs that are easy to look at and are probably fun to make in general. It just happens that furries really take a liking to them. At the end of the day, this game ceases to ever bore me with its variety of different game modes and characters that add so much flavor to a game that started out as an ambitious endeavor.